Hey, makeup classes are so late every day. When is it going to end? Just be patient. We will be liberated in 7 days. Our teacher has high expectations for me, and to be honest, no matter how hard I try, I won't be able to pass the high school department of our school.
Don't mention it. I was scolded by the teacher today. It's past 12 o'clock, and I have to brush the questions when I go home. I'm really about to collapse. Hey, I'm going to take a tuba. Wait for me for a while. I rely on you. Hurry up. They are all waiting for us, and the school will close later. Okay, got it. It's over soon.
The incident happened in 2019, when I just turned 15 years old. Because I was not good at studying since I was a child, my family always enrolled me in various cram schools. Can you imagine? When other students came home from school to watch TV and play games, but I had to go to a tutoring class. I felt that my hard-earned extracurricular learning career was longer than my life. The school I attended was a 9-year public school. When it was first built, everyone thought it was a highlight of local education. But to be honest, the primary and junior high schools were not that outstanding. But the high school was famous in the local area, so many parents tried their best to send their children in. Although some parents speak highly of this school, in fact, the management of the junior high school has always been relatively chaotic, and the location of the school is relatively off, and the nearest community is several kilometers away. It is said that this place used to be a cemetery, and because it was impossible to develop urban housing, a school could only be built here in the end. I remember that when the school was first built, I came here to take an exam. At that time, some buildings behind the school were unfinished, and the pictures and posters behind could be clearly seen from the teaching building. My academic performance still did not improve, but luckily I met a very responsible head teacher. Until the 3rd year of junior high school, the female teacher was in her 40s, and her son and I were classmates. Although my studies were not good, my popularity was good, so I still made a lot of friends in the class. Next semester, we started to prepare for the senior high school entrance examination. We were in a dark place during the day, and we had to memorize a lot of knowledge when we went home at night. In order to prevent us poor students from being lazy, the teacher simply left us at school every night and accompanied us to study until 12 midnight before we could go home. One Monday night, as usual, we stayed at school after school at 8:30. At that time, next door to our teaching building was the dormitory of high school students, and they had already left school. Some people have already gone back to the dormitory to get ready for bed, but what about us? We are still busy writing in the classroom. At around 11:30, we started to pack up and prepare to go home after school. At that time, we were not allowed to leave the classroom during the makeup class in the evening, and we could only go to the toilet at a fixed time. So usually, we would wait until the end of school in the evening to go to the toilet. The teacher also considered that if we went together, we would definitely play and play. So they arranged for us to go one by one from the first row to the last row in the order of seats. We were in the 3rd and 4th class of junior high school, and the toilet was next to the first class, not far from our classroom. When it was my turn to go to the toilet, I couldn't hold it anymore, so I hurried to the toilet. After solving the major life events, I looked out through the toilet window and saw that the high school dormitory building next door had all turned off the lights, and it seemed that only our class was left with the lights on in the whole school. When I was about to walk out of the toilet door, suddenly I saw something in a white dress floating down the corridor. You heard me right, this thing was floating past. I thought to myself, it was past 11 o'clock, and there could be no one else. At that moment, I felt a chill welling up in my heart. I didn't dare to look in the direction of the thing floating, so I could only rush back to the classroom with my head down. After returning to the classroom, I didn't dare to mention this to my classmates and teachers. After packing up, it was almost 12 o'clock. At that time, for the safety of students, the school stipulated that students must be accompanied by their parents before leaving the school. Since my classmate Xiao Si and I lived in the same community, we usually walked home together. The teacher also understood our situation, so he told us to pay attention to safety and let us go first. On the way home, I couldn't help but tell my classmates about the thing in the white dress I saw in the toilet just now. After listening to it, he thought I was bragging to him again. Che, what are you afraid of? 3 surprises and ghosts are not protected by law. As long as he doesn't call the police, don't call the Taoist priest. Because I always like to tell him some very exaggerated things, I listened to him and didn't bother to explain anything. I didn't mention it again along the way. After school ended at 8:30 the next night, we were left at school again. Because the high school entrance examination is next week, we will review more comprehensively tonight, so we can't go home from school until 12:30 midnight. After last night's experience, I started to feel a little out of my mind, so I didn't dare to walk around at night. During the break, some of the students went to the toilet, some went to get water, while I sat in the classroom in a daze, not even daring to drink more water, for fear of going to the toilet if we drank too much. At 12 midnight, we started to pack up and leave school. The teacher went to the office to organize the information and asked us to wait for him at the door after packing. The students couldn't help but start playing in the corridor. Little A and little B chased and ran to the end of the corridor and then disappeared. We thought they might have gone to the toilet, so we didn't take it too seriously. But after 10 minutes, Xiao A and Xiao B still didn't come back. My classmate Xiao C guessed that they might have gone downstairs and left the school early, because they were usually quite naughty, and I also thought that the 2 of them should have slipped out early. When the teacher returned to the classroom, he found that they were not in the classroom. But hey, where did these 2 go? Which one of you went to find them and asked them to come back quickly? I pretended to be packing things and didn't have any problems. In fact, because I was afraid, I didn't dare to go to the toilet to find them. So Xiao Si went to the second place and the second place. At the moment when the teacher closed the window of the classroom, Xiao Si suddenly ran back and said in horror, "Teacher, there are ghosts, ghosts." Hearing this, I was almost scared to tears, but the teacher didn't take his words seriously. "What nonsense are you talking about here? Where are they? Have you found them?" In the end, the teacher just thought that Xiao A and Xiao B might have left the school early. On the 3rd day, as soon as I entered the school, I heard a creepy news. At 6 o'clock this morning, the bodies of Xiao A and Xiao B were found at the door of the girls' dormitory in the high school. The window on the 3rd floor opposite the dormitory is on the floor where our classroom is located.